Hi and welcome back to Mr. Allred's 5 Minutes On. Today I'm going to be talking about the concept of ANSOFF'S matrix. This is a topic which is specifically for A-level and CAM Techs and BTECs at level 3. This isn't something that a GCSE student would need to know. So if you're a GCSE student tuning in, look elsewhere because this definitely won't be on your specification. It definitely won't be tested this year. So let's get cracking then. So ANSOFF'S matrix was created by a guy called Igor Ansoff, and Ansoff really was firstly he was a mathematician, but he started to become a corporate sort of strategy guru. He really understood business strategy and is really influential thinker in that sort of realm. And what he basically looked at is he looked at several things and considered a number of factors when a business is determining its corporate strategy, its overall way of going forward. So what he looked at is the level of investment in existing and new products. It looked at things like, can they exploit different markets and the exploitation possibilities there. He looked at the growth strategy of the business. What is it, aggressive, is it not aggressive, how quickly do they want to grow? And he wanted to look at the level of risk a business is willing to accept. And what he came up to is really a correlation between two variables, which is products and markets. He looked at products versus markets, and he came up with the idea of existing and new. As in existing products, things that I already have, and existing markets I'm already in, and new products and new markets. New products, brand new to the market, different versions of the same products I'm already selling, or new markets might not necessarily be the founding of a brand new market like Apple did with the smartphone market. It might literally be finding a new market segment for it like Lucozade did, or it might be finding a new geographical market, and we'll go into that in a minute. So let's start with market penetration at the top there. But this is a correlation between existing products and existing markets. This is where I should, in theory, have the most knowledge. I know about my products and I know about my consumers, and as a result, the risk there is much, much lower. However, in this market, I'm probably going up against my competitors. They've probably got brand loyalty, they've got customers that go to them, and as a result, the market's very saturated and it can be very hard for me to get customers in. So yes, the risk is low, but the reward for my strategy might not be potentially as high as it could be. What does this mean then? Well, if I want to have this strategy, I have to do something to enable customers to come to me over them. Usually I'm looking at a USP, I'm looking at quality, I'm looking at service. Or in Costa Coffee's case, what they did is they launched a loyalty scheme, a point scheme, where you collect points and eventually you can get free items. This is something different to what Starbucks was doing, the main competitor in that market. And that's hopefully going to pull those customers in. Still coffee, still people buying the same coffee, just adding something different to that service that's going to draw people in. Next one to look at is product development. Well, this is a new product in an existing market. So I know about the market, I know about the consumer needs and wants. I understand what they want from me as a business and what they want from products. But what I do is I launch a new product in the market, and it can be literally a brand new product in the market, or it could be an adaptation of my original product. So if we look at somebody like dairy milk over the years, it's 100 and odd years old now, that product, and over the years they've added different things to it, but more recently they've been really sort of aggressive in those changes. They've added Oreo, they've added caramel, and they've added little jelly beans and those sort of things to it. And all these things is a root of dairy milk, but they're changing it slightly to try and encourage people to buy more. And if we think about that, that's probably because dairy milk has this sort of long established product life cycle. It's currently in the sort of maturity to saturation phase of that, and what that business is trying to do is keep that fresh, keep that selling, bring out that new adaptation of that market, and then hopefully that will continue selling on and continue that product staying in that maturity stage. And really we're looking at extension strategies in place within those markets. Next one to look at is market development. Well, this is a brand new market but with an existing product. And the most obvious way to do this, and somebody like Enterprise Rent-A-Car did, who is American, is to move that product to a new geographical market. Enterprise is now all the way around the world, but originally they were American. And they've had lots of success because they've been able to achieve something called localization. They've been able to capture what the local market wants and needs and been able to give them that based on their original sort of business idea. But there's been businesses that have failed in this. Tesco is a prime example. Tesco very successful in the UK and some other countries, but they tried to launch Fresh and Easy in America and it just didn't work. They didn't understand the market, they didn't understand the nature of grocery shopping in America, and as a result they just had to essentially fail and lost a lot of money on this. So there's a lot of risk associated with it, but if you get it right, then actually you can start capturing markets around the world. It's a really useful thing. Lucozade did the same. They managed to capture the sports drinks market. When I was a kid, Lucozade was a medicine. It was a tonic you took when you're ill. But they managed to rebrand it, put it into a market of sports and athletes, and now they're sort of the world's leading sports drink out there. So they've managed to do that. Again, more risks. I don't understand the market, and so I can make monumental mistakes and cost me monumental amounts of money. The final one is diversification, and that's a new product and a new market. So it's the most risk. It's a massive, massive risk because I don't understand consumers. I don't understand what they want and what they need and how they operate and those sort of things. I might not understand the legal frameworks in those markets, and I also don't fully understand the product. I don't know what the product is yet. The product is a new product on the market. I'm not certain whether there's any bugs in it. If it's a technology, I'm not certain whether it's going to work to the effect that it wants. I'm not sure it's going to resonate to those consumers in the way that I want it to. As a result, this is a lot of risk, but with risk comes massive, massive rewards. This can be absolutely massive in terms of rewards. And if we look at somebody like Virgin is a record store. That's what they started as. Richard Branson started it as selling records in the back of a car. They've now got an airline. They've now got trains. They've now got finance. He's launching Virgin Galactic. If you think about this as a way of looking at diversification, well, that is completely different markets. They're not associated with each other. The customers aren't even similar, and as a result, they have no knowledge of that when they're launching it. And as a result, if that goes wrong, that could go monumentally wrong and cost a lot of money. So we often see it's big businesses that engage in this. It's big businesses that try to diversify in those ways and try and move themselves out into those different markets and form almost conglomerates. So that's ANSOFF'S Matrix. It helps me sort of map out my strategies, really. Helps me with that thinking as a planning tool, as an analytical tool. And it's useful to sort of pick out bits of knowledge with this in essays to be able to talk about. ANSOFF would say this is a form of diversification, for example, and this is what ANSOFF would say about it. A bit like you would with motivational theory. So I hope you've learned something today. This has been Mr. Always 5 Minutes On. Please like the video and please subscribe to the channel.